right, Pickle. Let's talk about some numbers.
Math Tuesday.
I always forget that you want to call it Math Tuesday. Math Tuesday. It's time for Math Tuesday.
Gets the nerds going.
It's time for Math Tuesday. And on Math Tuesday today, we're going to talk a little bit about the most improved Texas high school football defenses in 2021. I've got the piece up on TexasFootball.com. And we mentioned last time that...
Because we did offenses.
We did offenses last time on Math Tuesday.
Hashtag Math Tuesday.
And we talked about how offenses really did take a leap in 2021.
Yeah.
We talked about how we thought that the pandemic really tamped down offenses in 2020.
But we weren't going to know until the next season rolled around.
Right? They came roaring back with nearly 2 more points per game per team in the state of Texas in 2021. It's pretty big, right?
Yeah, when you're looking at 1,200 teams.
But at the same time, that's not to say that defense is going out of style. Because, consider this. I don't know if you knew this, Pickle. Here's a little fun fact. A little fun fact on Math Tuesday.
Does it revolve around tortoises?
There were 12 UIL state champions last year, right?
Fact.
11 of them had a scoring defense that ranked in the top 10.
Does not surprise me.
11 of the 12.
We brought that up kind of before the state championships. If there's a lot of defensive-minded teams here.
The only one that didn't was Westbrook. Westbrook was 12th in 1A Division I, which is just outside the top 10, obviously. But also, remember, they took 4 losses, and they played some really tough teams that probably drove up that average in the early going. So, it still takes defense to win at the highest level in Texas high school football.
Yes.
And so that's what makes this particularly interesting, is we're able to see which teams are trending in that way to show us, hey, they're improving, they're getting closer to contention, which of those teams made those leaps. And so we have the top 25 most improved defenses from 2020 to 2021. And you can see them there. Those are the logos. If you're interested in them, you can find them on TexasFootball.com. So the most improved defense in 2021 was Lingleville.
All right.
The Cardinals. And this is pretty shocking, okay? So they're a 6-man program. In 2020, they had literally, I mean this literally, the worst defense in 1A Division I. I'm not kidding. The number last scoring defense.
The number last.
In 2020 in 1A Division I, okay? They were giving up 64.9 points per game. This past year, they brought that average down to 31.6, okay? They improved by 33 points a game.
Wow.
They went from dead last to 13th in the state.
Talk about a jump.
That's a massive jump. Okay, a massive jump. The defense for Coach Kenneth Davis went from it is straight up losing them games to an actual bona fide asset.
Well, on top of that, 33 sounds like a high number, but when you put it in a perspective from the 6-man classification, that's a really low number of points scored.
Correct. Yeah, 33 is not bad. 33 or 31.6 points per game is what they gave up.
Yeah, that allowed is not
bad.
That's
good enough for 13th. 13th in 1A Division I. Pretty good. The most improved 11-man team was a team we've talked about on this program before. Roscoe.
Yep.
Roscoe allowed 29 fewer points per game in 2021.
Wow.
Okay. Antonio Aguayo, Reese Kaiser, and Strong Sporting Cast put the Plowboys on their back. They went from giving up 47.5 points a game, which I think we can all say bad.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be a jerk. If you give up 47 points a game, your defense is pretty bad.
Math Tuesday would confirm.
They gave up 18.5 points per game.
Wow.
Which is like really good.
Yeah.
Like they went from very bad to pretty darn good in the span of 1 year. The most improved big school, if you want to call 6A and 5A big school, which I think is fair, right?
Yes.
Mission Veterans Memorial.
How about that, Coach Gilpin?
Once again, they went from 43 points a game to 17.4 points a game.
Wow.
Okay? A giant leap. They were 5A's most improved defense. And remember, they went 1-5. We talked with Coach Gilpin at 7-on-7, and he talked about how, you know what? You are what your record says you are. I'm a 1-5 coach. Well, he's an 8-4 coach now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They took that leap. That showed up in the win column. Speaking of sparking a big improvement, you will notice there are two down there bottom left of this graphic. You'll notice two state champions.
Yes.
Stephenville rode the state's 6th most improved defense to a state championship. They went from, because you remember what really held them back, the offense was pretty good last year, but last year they were giving up 37 points a game, 37.8 points a game. This year, 15.
Yeah.
15 points
That
a game.
defense was insane this year.
The other one is Stratford. Stratford was a team that you remember last year they went, I want to say they went like 7-6. Like they had a weird
Pretty
weird
run of the
final
mill.
record, but they basically cut their defensive scoring allowance down by 2/3. They went from 30.9 points a game to 10. Okay? No wonder they won a state championship. If you're looking in Class 6A, the most improved defense, Humble Summer Creek. Second time we've mentioned that program. There in 4A, it was Bandera. Bandera was the most improved defense in 4A, and in 3A, San Antonio Cole. Those are the most improved defense. Those are the top 25. You can find those all up on TexasFootball.com. But what I think is interesting, this is just, and I haven't run this particular style number, but thinking back on the most improved offenses.
Yes.
You were looking up and down, and you were like, oh, there were still some teams that were going, 2-8. There were still some teams that were going 3-7, things like that. You don't see that very much in this list.
No.
Okay? You're seeing a lot of 7-4s. Forney was made a huge leap. We talked with Jeff Fleener there at DFW Coaching Clinic, or DFW Coaching Clinic rather, and talked about that. They went 7-4, right? One of the only teams to be on both most improved offenses and most improved defenses is Tioga.
Yep.
Right? Coach Chad Rogers doing big things there. They obviously made a big leap, right? I only see one team in Darrozette in the 6-man ranks that had a pretty tough year. But that is the outlier. You got a lot of 10-win teams here. Marlin's on this list, right? Gordon is on this list. Toller, Spur, all teams that had really nice years in 2021. I think there's more of a correlation, and I would need to run some sort of numbers on this. Maybe that's next Math Tuesday. Run a correlation. I would say that improved defenses is more correlated with a better win column or better outcome than
all the coaches watching this are going, well, we've been telling y'all the defense wins championships forever.
I know that's right, but it
is interesting to see.
It's stark. It laid out in stark terms here.
Especially because when we go back to what you were talking about earlier with the offenses and the pandemic, and we were wondering how much of a difference that really made, we kind of said all along, like we thought that the defenses could be the big calling card during all of that, and the fact that it shows that, yeah, you could have a decent defense in 2020 and be fine, but if you made big strides this year, that there is some kind of connection between all of that.
Yeah, I think so. So there you go. You can find the piece up on TexasFootball.com, the most improved defenses in Texas high school football in 2021.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.